Hi guys, I thought I'd make a short video to talk about my so-called drinking career and how it led me to becoming sober. I think I come from an era that drinking at 14 years old was quite a common thing to do. You could get into the pubs with no ID. I started actually drinking at home, like the odd can of cider or something with my dinner. It was quite normal back in those days to have them. Your parents used to sort of let you have a little tipple or whatever. And then I sort of got in the wrong company and started going to the local pub, started drinking 3 or 4 pints of beer, getting quite sozzled on that, and it's probably like Foster's or something quite low in alcohol content. And then I would like to say that when I'm probably into my 20s, I was quite sporty in that, so it's quite normal for me to go for a few beers after a football match or something like that, and mainly going out at the weekend and getting absolutely plastered. But then I don't really remember weekly drinking. And then I got into my late 20s, early 30s, and I started going to a local pub where I became quite a regular there. In fact, I drank there most days or nights, and I soon developed a nickname called Glugs because I could sink 5 or 6 pints in an hour and then stagger home. A couple of years after I started going to the pub, I kind of started drinking indoors after the pub, and this is where it started to go downhill. You know, I'd have my session in the pub where before I'd normally just, that would be it. I would go to the offie and get some more beers, or even like the high strength ciders like Diamond White, which then was I think 8.2%. I moved, and the house I bought was nowhere near the local pub. It was out in the sticks a little bit. So I started to drink indoors all the time, and I became quite isolated with my drinking. And at first it felt a little bit strange, but it wasn't long before I actually started to really enjoy it. And I used to stop off at the supermarket every night on the way home and stock up. Then I started to put on a bit of weight, well, actually quite a lot of weight. So I started to Google what alcohol can you drink that's low in calories. Well, I think we all know that it's not low in calories, but what was the best alcohol? And up come the old vodka. So I started to drink vodka after 3 or 4 beers. At the worst, I was drinking a litre of bottle of vodka a night. Every single day. I had a reeking hangover, although I used to tell people I didn't have a hangover ever. Now that I'm sober, I realise I did, because I felt absolutely awful every day. Then I met my now wife, and somehow in the beginning I kind of hid it a little bit. I was off the vodka then because it was just inappropriate for me to bring vodka into the house because she had small kids and that. So I started drinking wine because she liked wine. And it wasn't long after that that I was really found out. She started to realise that I was a really, really heavy drinker. We started arguing, and then I would drink because of the arguments, and quite often I would stay up with the excuse I'm not tired yet, but I'd have hidden a bottle of wine somewhere. So I'd drink that, fall asleep on the sofa, and wake up in the morning, or 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever, feeling like anxious, knackered, restless, creep into bed about 5:30, and the alarm would go off at 6:30 for me to go to work. Hit a few all-time lows. One time, it was Easter 2 years ago, and I ended up down in Eastbourne, and we'd had a big row indoors, and I don't know why I ended up there, but I went into the Witherspoons pub there at 11 in the morning and drank till probably 10 at night. Went into the Co-op, bought a bottle of vodka, and decided it'd be a good laugh to drink on the beach. Obviously passed out, And I did this for 3 nights, and by the 4th day I just looked like I was homeless. I hadn't showered, I've been sleeping rough, I've been in the pub all day. Ended up going home, had to go to the doctors, and she put me on a lower dose of antidepressants, and I suppose I realised then that if I didn't do something about it, I would be in real serious trouble. And that was in April. Then I got back into my usual routine again, ups and downs, ups and downs. And I think the pivotal point was Christmas 2018, where I had a picture taken of me and my wife, and I looked hideous. I looked so big and so wrecked from the night before. And then I was in my office in the garden, and my wife came out and she was crying, and she just said to me, "Look, I just can't do this anymore." And as she walked into the house, I just looked at her, and she put her head in her hands, and I just looked at her and thought, what am I doing? What am I doing to this woman that I love so much, you know? And then on January the 7th, I woke up, and this is 2019, last year, and again, another hangover. But by this time, I kind of knew that I had to do something drastic, because I'd tried moderating. That lasted about 2 days, where I just drank 1 bottle of wine, which is enough. But then after 2 days, I started bringing in 2 and hiding another. It wasn't enough for me. I just couldn't do it. I received a text message saying, from a very good friend, almost like he was psychic, said, "How do you fancy giving up drinking 3 months to see how you are in your marriage, your health and general life?" And I burst out laughing, because I thought, I can't give up for 3 days, let alone 3 months. But it trickled in throughout the day. And by about 5 o'clock, it was like an epiphany for me. It was like, I wonder how I would look, how I would feel, how my marriage would be. And I texted him and I said, "Are you in?" And he said yes. And he's rarely in, so it was like a miracle. And within a minute of seeing him, I shook his hand and I said, "Right, I'm doing it." And that was January the 7th last year, 2019. And that is the last drink I've had. So I'm now over 15 months sober. I created my page at Sober Dave on Instagram and built a big community on there. And now I like to help people with their journey. I share my journey as honestly as I can, and people reach out right at the beginning of their journey. And you know, especially during the times we're going through now with this lockdown, I know there are a lot of people struggling, and I feel stronger than ever. So I'm going to make a few videos talking about the earlier stages of my sobriety, cravings, the sugar monster that I dealt with, and all the various things to do with my sober journey. So if you like this video, please make a comment and watch out for some new ones to come. Thanks guys for listening. See you later.